Kima, Bob, you and I here backstage at the Guilty Feminist, the last night of the tour in Glasgow.
It's true. It's a beautiful night. I'm sad that the tour is over. I didn't do, like, loads of it, but I'm glad that I was here for what I have been here for, you know?
I was bummed out you couldn't do more, but you were supporting Nish Kumar on tour.
It's true. I'm not choosing any favourites. There are no favourites here.
Well, I know that we are the favourite, but you said yes to Nish first, so that's what I know. And Nish, if you're listening to this...
These are just facts.
These are the facts.
These are just hard facts.
These are hard facts, but you got in first. So listen, you're the early bird. You got the worm that is
Kima
Bob.
I'm a little worm.
You got the talented, fabulous, hot
adorable worm
that is Kima Bob, because you got in a little bit earlier than us by days.
So I'm glad to have been able to join you for like this leg of the thing, the last leg, the final stretch. And what's wild is, like, we're talking now on the last day of the Guilty Feminist Tour, June 18th, but then tomorrow, both of us will be going on a train from Glasgow to London to do the first ever Fuck It Up comedy show podcast recording.
And can you please tell the listeners what Fuck It Up stands for?
I'll do it. For those who don't know, Fuck It Up is spelled FOC it up, so it's not technically cussing. And FOC stands for Films of Color. It's the Films of Color Comedy Club, but we don't just platform films of color, so we platform women, non-binary, trans, masculine, gender non-conforming performers of color. And it's basically just like a celebration of the voices of these comics. And I'm so excited to be bringing it back. We started in 2018 and we had shows like all the time back in the day, and it was lovely. You know, our like small queer audience. We actually started in a venue called Her Upstairs in Camden, which doesn't exist anymore. But it was like a queer bar, and it was so lovely. And then, you know, the pandemic hit, and I decided to take a break, and I needed to like focus on my own stuff because it takes a lot of work putting on a show, you know.
I do.
So I'm so excited to be back, and to be back also recording it, like to be shared beyond the walls, beyond London for those who can't come is really exciting.
And that's where the Guilty Feminist comes in, because the house of the Guilty Feminist...
Wait, hold on. There's like this weird buzzing.
Yeah, I think it was maybe a truck going by or something.
Yeah, so we're in a dressing room upstairs in a theatre, the Pavilion Theatre
in Glasgow.
We're not in a studio. Hello.
Alison's just walked in.
Alison just walked in. We said hi. But yeah, so we're not in a studio. We're in a dressing room, and we put a microphone on the counter because that's how much we care about content.
I think a lorry went by. That's what I think happened.
It sounded big.
But yeah, that's where the Guilty Feminist comes in. So we're doing, we are podcasting it from the House of the Guilty Feminist, which is a new vertical we have with Acast. And
oh my God, vertical.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a vertical.
It's a vertical. It's not a horizontal.
It's not a horizontal hustle.
It's a vertical.
It's absolutely, it's a vertical.
Yeah.
And we are producing other podcasts, including
Media
Storm, two investigative journalists going out, asking the people you usually ask last. Matilda Madison and Helena Wadia, and also now Femmes of Colour with Kima Bob.
Yeah.
What made you think of the title Fuck It Up, Femmes of Colour? Do you remember your eureka moment?
Well, I was going back and forth because I knew that I wanted to call it, like, I was like, it's a Femmes of Colour comedy club. Like, I was like, what do I want to do? Because the inspiration for it comes from a mix of the Guilty Feminists doing those shows, sharing space with other, like, women on stage, and just being like, and how the Guilty Feminist has been able to like create its own space where like it's like the audience has a beautiful experience and the comics have a beautiful experience because we get to be with each other. So that was really inspiring for me. And then I also was a part of the Cocoa Butter Club, which is ran by my friend Sadie Sinner, who's lovely and brilliant. And the first Fuck It Up gig was actually her idea, because she was putting on a festival with the Cocoa Butter Club. And she said, Kimo, do you want to like I have like an hour in the festival if you want to put on like a comedy show. And I was like, yes. And I was like, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be like the Films of Color Comedy Club. I was like, what do I call it? And we were kind of spitballing back and forth and we were like, okay, the FOC, the FOC, no. And then she was like, fuck it up. And I was like, oh my God, you're a genius. So full credit to Sadie Sinner for helping me figure out what to call it. She's full of ideas. She's so brilliant. And I'm so grateful for both like the Cocoa Butter Club space, which platforms performers of color in cabaret, and the Guilty Feminist space. Because like without them, this kind of fusion space that Fuck It Up is, it wouldn't be. I don't know if I'd have the courage to do it or if I would believe that it would work, you know,
and grow,
that
and
people would
drawn
care, that people would be invested. But I've seen that, like, I think when you make something with people in mind and say, hey, I feel like you're not being taken care of by this art form and we want to cater to you a little bit, you know, it's just, it's so exciting.
I think that's right. Sometimes people say to me, why has the Guilty Feminist been so successful? It's usually actually quite resentful men in comedy who go, what's so brilliant about your podcast then that it's done with so well, blah, blah, blah.
Why is everybody listening to this?
Yeah, not so much anymore, but when it took off at first, there was a little bit of resentment.
Since I've been involved, like, they've, like, people are like, oh, look at M&Ms. And it's like, yeah, it's actually really great. Yeah.
Well, when these guys have said that to me, I usually say the answer is women are thirsty. That there isn't a lot made for us and by us. And there's stuff on telly there's a lot of cocktails and shoes or very serious earnest stuff on the radio about feminism and how important and unfun it is. And I think a space that's entertaining, that says you don't have to be perfect to be a force for meaningful change, people are thirsty for that. They want to come, they want to have fun, but they want to be with other people who think like them. And I think with Fuck It Up, what you've identified is another thirsty audience and a demographic of which you are a member, where you would like to go to this show.
Oh, exactly. That's the thing about it, is like, there have been times when I've been performing in certain spaces in front of like white people that got more money than me, that are older than me, and I'm just kind of like, if I'm being honest, I'm gonna do my job right now, but I don't really care to make you laugh. I don't really care to make sure that you have a joyful evening. But I think, like, the Fuck It Up audience, like, I love them, you know? Yeah. And it's everyone. It's like, we get, the straight white dudes in, but it's Black, brown, East Asian, Latinx, people of different genders, sexual orientations, all together, right? And white people as well. And it's I feel like it's an audience that actually represents what, like, London is like, or what multicultural cities are like. Everyone should be there. And what you get when you perform for an audience like that, what you get when you perform for an audience that is truly mixed up, is a more dynamic performance from yourself as a performer. You're not playing to one type of person. You need to make sure that all your ground is covered, you know? Like, it's hard for artists to betray their heritage and do, like, hack jokes about being from a country or their parents' accent when there are people from that country with that accent in front of them. It challenges them to be better comics. But also, like, I like to think that we have some of the most fun, like, intervals ever, because the crowd is so fun. The crowd is so fun and so gorgeous. Oh, it moves me. And so I'm so excited to be back, because, like, it's a night that I would want to go to. I'd proudly, happily sit in that audience, and hear from people who are like me, not like me, more like me than I thought. Yeah.
Can Can you tell us who's in the first show?
Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow's the first show, which is huge. And it won't be tomorrow when this, like, audio comes to the world.
You're listening in the future.
Yeah, which is insane. I hope the future's okay. I hope we're not underwater. You know, if this...
I think it's going out, like, next few days. So hopefully...
If there's not, like, an asteroid headed towards us, then it should be okay.
Sure. I mean, if the asteroid has landed, I don't know that anyone's ever going to hear this tape.
Yeah.
But look, let's just assume no asteroid.
No asteroid.
Yeah.
Okay, and the world is still bad, but no asteroid.
So the first episode, even if you missed the show, because you're just hearing now and going, what? I missed the show.
Yeah.
You can hear it. It's a podcast.
It's true.
And who's on the first lineup?
The first lineup I'm so excited about. We've got Ola Labib, who's incredible, Sudanese vibes. She is so witty and, like, I just... There's a dryness to her humor that is so great. We've got Charlie George, who's incredible. And I know Charlie George, it does sound like the name of perhaps a straight white man, but I assure you they're not. We have Sophie Duker, who is your friend and mine. I love Sophie.
Just one Taskmaster?
Yeah, just one Taskmaster. And what's crazy is, like, every time... Like, we've been friends for years now, and every time I ask her to come do a show, well, to be honest, when I ask, like, most of the people that come do the show, I'm just like, thank you for giving your time and your energy, because they're so busy, they're so successful, they're so incredible, but they know how important it is, like, as a platform, so they'll make time for it. Yeah. So Sophie's coming, and I'm so glad, because she has a lot on. She's just, like, announced a tour and stuff. We have Michelle DeSwart, who is so, I was about to say funny, but that's like, duh, everyone is. But Michelle is, like, so sharp and so fucking cool. She used to be a model. Like, she still is, I feel like, technically. Are you ever not a model anymore?
I don't know how it works, because I've never been one.
She had this joke where she was like, it was something like she, when she was modeling, she would get stuff for free all the time. And now that she's getting older, like, it occurred to her that her, like, model card isn't working anymore when she had to, like, buy her own drinks. She's so funny. And she just starred in an HBO series called The Baby, where, like, this demon baby becomes, like, obsessed with her. Yeah, and I can't figure out how to watch it because I don't have HBO.
Well, listen, I have HBO. You can come around and watch it on mine.
Great, thanks. Jambi Mcgrath, who is really dope. And, like, the Jambi does all sorts of different kinds of material. But some of my favorite stuff of hers is she's a Kenyan comic, and the way that she talks about colonialism is so sharp and so fierce and so unapologetic that it's just, like, a joy to watch. And then there's Esther Manito, who is from Essex, of Lebanese heritage.
This is 2 episodes we're recording.
This is 2 episodes we're recording in one show.
So this is people get a lot for their money.
1,000%. I think so, you know. These people are incredible, and there's loads of them. And Esther Manito did, like, Live at the Apollo and all this stuff, and she's just been on, like, Hypothetical. So we're coming out, like, guns blazing.
Wow.
And people, sometimes you look at lineups, and these people are missing.
Yeah.
And you're acting like there isn't talent. The talent is here, you know?
Well, I'm so happy all these actors supporting Fuck It Up, because that's going to make it so successful. All of these incredible people coming to do it. But also, I know they're going to want to come and do it more, because your audience is so beautiful and thirsty, as I said.
Vibes.
Everybody's going to come and find a great deal of communion. It's going to be Fuck It Up Church.
It's going to be beautiful. Like, so my intention, because I think intention is so important. My intention of this is to create a joyful and empowering experience for my acts and for my audience. That's all I want to do, is to, like, facilitate a good time, you know? And, like, you know, I think The Guilty Feminist, what it does with balancing the light and the shade is so important and beautiful. quite frankly, sometimes the experience of being like a queer person of color is shady enough. So this show will just be comedy and then a bit of chat. One of the questions I look forward to asking them is, what are you horny for right now? And I'm like, horny means like, just what do you want? Like, it could be ice cream, but what are you horny for right now? So it's going to be silly times. I look forward to it. We're doing like games where we have the audience DM us suggestions to play with. So I think it's going to be gorgeous. And like, I'm not sure, like, because, you know, when you have an idea of something that you want to make, you have a plan. And one of my favorite quotes is like, we plan and the universe laughs, right?
Yeah.
So have an idea, but we'll see what comes out of it when it's happening. And I'm excited for that.
I think it's going to evolve and grow along with you. And I am so proud to be producing the podcast. And to be in the audience for the very first episode is just going to be so wonderful.
It's going to be lovely. Thank you so much for like inviting me onto the Guilty Feminist and into the Guilty Feminist family, and also showing me like the power of podcasting to connect people and bring people together, to empower and inform people. And thank you for like, when I was like, hey, I have an idea for a thing, being like, yeah, I would like to help you make that happen. Like, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for bringing your throbbing, fizzing talent to the Guilty Feminist so regularly. And now I just get to do this collaboration with you. So I'm so excited. I've been loving the meetings and, you know, the ideas and the WhatsApps.
Oh my gosh.
You know, ideas flying around. And
we need to get you dancing to the playlist. We got a playlist. And I'm so sorry, people that aren't like on Spotify. I'll try to put it somewhere else, but I think you can listen to it on Spotify with ads. But I got a playlist made by a DJ and director called Almas Badat, who I love. It's such a great vibe. South Asian, but grew up in Zambia. What are you saying? Like, she's so incredible, and her taste is so eclectic. And I was like, I want you to make the official soundtrack that we're going to play like at the shows, but that I'm going to play to get ready for the shows.
Excellent. And
it is such a vibe.
Can I find it on Spotify?
Definitely. If you look up Fuck It Up Comedy Club, it'll be there. And there's some stuff on there. There is some stuff on there. Let's just say that the other day I was listening to it, and okay, we have a 15-minute call. Leave it to a man to tell us to wrap it up. So the other day I was listening to it, and it just reminded me of how long it's been since I twerked in a mirror. So I had to take that opportunity.
Well, I am so excited to come to the show, to listen to the podcast, and I hope all the Guilty Feminists listening support this brand new podcast, Fuck It Up Comedy Club with Kima Bob.
I think you'll really enjoy it, and you can find it everywhere that you find the Guilty Feminists, because quite frankly, Tom Salinsky is doing his thing, man.
Tom Salinsky's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Set the patriarchy to work. That's what we say.
Indeed. Our first episode is going to come out on July 12th, and we have shows in London on, of course, June 19th, June 26th, August 3rd. Desiree Birch is on August 3rd. That would be so fun. Oh, wait, July 3rd. July 3rd, Desiree's on. And July 17th.
I'm going to be
July
in Australia on
31st,
tour.
you're going to Australia.
New Zealand on tour with Grace Petrie. So I won't be, but I'm definitely going to be at the first one.
Yeah.
Then after that, I might be in
just
Australia
pop in randomly, just mysteriously.
I will. And when I get back.
Good. Just in the back of the room.
Yeah, indeed. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this being a podcast is I'll be able to listen to them all.
It's true. So if you can't come, which we would love you to be a part of the beautiful, like, mishmash of gorgeousness that is our audience IRL. But if you can't come, then tune in and we'll try to make it feel like you're there, you know?
And it's in London at 21 Soho.
Yes.
But hopefully it's going to take off because you're going to support it wherever you're living.
And we'll be everywhere. And we'll see you there.
Like we told the Guilty Feminists, wherever
It's
you
true.
are. So
with a lineup of like the hottest women, non-binary, trans-masculine, gender non-conforming comics that are available to come through.
Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget to fuck it up this week.
Thank you.